Okay, well, this is a joyful post from the Office of the Prime Minister. Every pupil with a parent on universal credit will be entitled to free school meals starting in September 2026. That's next year. Now, well, next year as I'm making this video anyway. Universal credit is a sort of top-up payment for people who are under state pension age. Obviously, pensioners aren't getting any extra, and people who are on a low income or out of work. And it will include, let's see what it says here, support for the cost of housing, children and childcare, and financial support for people with disabilities, carers, and people too ill to work. So if you have one parent on universal credit, you'll get a free school meal. Let's hope it's halal, because people who eat halal appear to be the most likely to be accessing this particular gift from the British taxpayer. I'm Granniopteryx. Please like this video, please share it, please subscribe. And yeah, if you want to make a contribution to the Keep Granniopteryx's Horses in Shoes, you can do that. But again, don't strain yourself. I don't do this entirely for the money. I do it because I feel like some things need to be said. And some people can't afford to say them. That is, I am not employed by anyone, so I'm not going to get sacked. Basically, that gives me a lot of freedom of speech that a lot of you don't have. I appreciate that, and that's why I feel I should be speaking up. Okay, let's get on with it. Right, well, free school meals, yeah, that's very nice, except where's the money coming from? I thought we had this £22 billion black hole, or what, million, or I don't know, they make up figures, so it's not really important to remember which particular figure Rachel Reeves is using at any particular time. But they are going to be giving free school meals, and our plan for change, that is the spare change out of your pocket if you're a taxpayer, is giving children the best start in life and putting £500 back in the pockets of working parents. I don't know where that line of reasoning comes from, but I thought I'd just look up the sort of people who would be accessing a universal credit and therefore getting their kids fed at school. In January 2025, the majority of people receiving universal credit identified as white, so that's 76.2%. After that, 10.4% of claimants are Asian, or they call here Asian British, and that, well, that's a bit problematic. And then Black African Caribbean, Black British, that's 6%, and that is somewhat problematic because they bundled Black, African, Caribbean and Black British all together. And I would venture to suggest that Caribbean and Black British are culturally nothing like a lot of Africans. And they're certainly not like, for instance, the Somalis. Now, I tried to find, so this 6% here, which is just, you know, basically any old person who has a black skin, which is, in my opinion, somewhat racist. I tried to find out how many Somalis would comprise this, and I found this. Somali migrants have higher housing benefit rates. Reports indicate that migrants born in Somalia have high rates of claiming housing benefits, with one study suggesting over 45%. So this figure here might be a very great deal from one particular black group. And Somalis certainly have nothing, well, very little in common with, for instance, Afro-Caribbeans. So the figures aren't really I mean, without doing a serious sociological study, I can't be absolutely sure. But the figures don't appear to be really that fair. Anyway, but I was interested by this. The Asian British individuals, they were 10.4% of claimants for universal credit. And let's see, Asians are 9.3% of the population. And this includes groups like Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi and Chinese. Now, going on personal experience, I can't see that many Chinese people claiming universal credit. They tend to help each other. And that would go for Hindus and Sikhs as well. In fact, in 2025, data indicates that Bangladeshi and Pakistani individuals are among the groups with higher rates of claiming universal credit. Specifically, 9% of the combined Bangladeshi and Pakistani ethnic group were unemployed, the highest rate of any ethnic group in 2022. Additionally, 33% of this combined group were economically inactive, that means out of work and not looking for a job. And I forgot to mention that white people are 81% of the population, but only 76% of those claiming universal credit, whereas Asian and Asian British individuals, and this appears to be mostly Pakistani and Bangladeshi, were 10.4% of claimants for universal credit, even though they are only, well, somewhat less than 9% of the population. And remember, somewhat less because they're including Indians like Hindus, Sikhs and Chinese, and they appear not to be so much involved with things like universal credit. So they are claiming universal credit way above their proportion of the population, whereas white people are claiming universal credit below their percentage of the population. So it seems that these free school meals are going to benefit the Bangladeshi and Pakistani voters, which the Labour Party is trying to court away from their independent candidates. There are 5 independent MPs in Parliament, and they are all more or less elected on the Gaza issue. And I think that probably our dear leader is thinking that in a couple of years' time, when all the Gaza thing has died down, then they can bribe the Pakistanis back into the Labour fold with this sort of thing. It's not going to work. It's absolutely not going to work. It's not the Gaza thing. It's not the Gaza thing. It's the social thing. It's the religious thing. It's the cultural thing. I do wish people would realise the Gaza war isn't about land. It's about religion. And Gaza is just an excuse. When that councillor in Hare Hills who was elected and the first thing he did was shout, "This is for Gaza," he wasn't talking about Gaza. Right, I just thought I might mention that. Till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.